Alright, so I'm Stu. I'm a bodybuilder. Reason I got into bodybuilding honestly was I needed something. It to say the least, it saved my life. I was going through a few things, going through divorce. I was feeling like everything was just breaking down. I was feel like I was just going to lose everything, and it put me into a mental state. And it actually went to behavioral health for a week, and it was terrible for me. What I realized through that whole ordeal was that I was mentally weak, and I needed to really build up my mental capacity in regards to the strength I needed to continue. I felt like I was at the end of my rope, and I needed it. Some people will turn to alcohol, drugs, whatever. I felt that turning to the gym is what I needed. It was something that I was always into. I just lacked the drive to go and do it every day. If I met old Stu right now, I think I would say, stop what you're doing, get your shit together. It's not that bad. Life goes on. You can't let your circumstance dictate your future. The circumstance today is only today, but there's still a tomorrow, and then there's the next day, and then there's the day after that. So from that point forward, I really had to figure out how to change and what I needed to change. And what it boiled down to was I needed to change my lifestyle. I had to transition from being out all hours of the night, partying and putting myself into situations that were only going to benefit the current me and not benefit the future me. And for me personally, the gym did that for me. Working on my body did that for me. Setting short-term goals for my health did that for me. So I feel that there's three big things that enabled me to really change. Number one, for me personally, was I didn't have any drive. I lacked a setting of goals. And that brings me back to getting into the sport of bodybuilding and getting into living a more healthy lifestyle. From what I figured out was that if I can control what I put into my body, I can just about control everything else in my life. And I say that very loosely because you really don't have that much control, but the control that you do have, you have to take hold of it and really control it. So controlling my diet was the number one thing I had to do. I was never a skinny guy. I was never a fit guy. I literally was the guy getting picked on in school every day, being called titty boy. Yes, they called me titty boy. All right. It wasn't fun. Now I had friends, I was the comedian. I joked around a lot. I was liked, but I lacked confidence in myself. So I started getting my diet together. I didn't have the knowledge of it. So I started Googling ways to eat better, different diets. And I tried them all. I tried to juice and that was terrible. I lost a lot of weight, but I gained it all back. And then I started learning about flexible dieting and started counting my macros. And then from there, it just started to blossom, and it grew to where I started to research how to do diets and meal plans myself. And that's what I currently do now, is write all my diet plans, my workouts. And I continue to learn and continue to study, because I feel like until the day you are in the dirt, you should always be trying to learn something new. And that's when things really started to come together. At the gym, I would get into different little routines. I would start looking for different videos to figure out how to have perfect form. And it took a while. This wasn't something that happened overnight. After I started researching how to do set exercises and whatnot, I started to, make friends in the gym, because I would have to ask questions, and that's what really got me into the sport of bodybuilding, because I had friends in the gym who were bodybuilders. I got invited to a bodybuilding competition here locally and inspired just like that. I said, man, I can do that. So once I believed I can do it, I started doing it. I started really looking at different pros and how they were eating and how they were working out. And I said, I need to emulate these guys, because these guys have already surpassed where I am currently, and they're at the top. So if I want to make it to the top, I got to see where they started from and then start working my way up there. And it was hard for me. That very first bodybuilding show was the toughest thing I ever did. And I thought I was doing all right with my diet until I really had to start dieting. What I want to hit on about this prep life and that diet plan was that it can really mess with your mind. It can really, really mess with your mind. It got to the point to where I would really eat on the weekends, and then I would say, I don't feel good. The food I ate really made me feel sick, and I would go to the bathroom and yak it up. All right. And that was like the most unhealthy thing ever. And I would trick myself into thinking that, oh, I just feel sick. No, it wasn't that I felt sick. I felt guilty. I felt guilty because I'm supposed to be doing something and I wasn't doing it. So I would just go to the bathroom and, oh, I'm sick, and I'd yak all the food up, you know? And it's hard for me to even talk about that because I haven't told anybody that before, that was an issue. But it took some time for me to really learn that eating was just to fuel myself, and it surpassed the enjoyment of food. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy my food sometimes, you know, actually quite often. But at the same time, it took me years to really get to the point to have a level of food discipline to where it doesn't even bother me anymore to, you know, have, you know, excessive cheat meals or overindulge. 4 years down the road, I found that I don't have to do that. So that's where I'm at today. You know, I'm prepping for show number 4 and show number 5 right now. You know, I have big plans to really go pro, and that's where I really want to end up at with this bodybuilding. I really want to go pro. I want to be an IFBB pro, and I'm on the track to become a pro. If I'm believing up here that this is something that I can achieve, it is something that I will do. The only person stopping you most of the time is going to be yourself. Nobody can say, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. They can say that, but it's up to you whether or not you're going to believe it. So me, I choose to believe in me and not believe in the words of, you know, of somebody else who doesn't think I can do it. You know, that doesn't matter. At one point, I was 270 pounds. So it really took a lot of work for me to get from that 270 to get my weight down. And mind you, this is over a course of years. We're not talking months, we're talking years of dedication it took to get this weight off. When I did that first show, I did great. I got my overall in bodybuilding, but it really wasn't what I wanted to get into bodybuilding wise. I wanted to be a physique competitor. And I came in second in my first physique competition. And I was okay with that. You know, it was a learning experience. You always have to take away something from it. And that's what I took away was, okay, how can I get better? I needed to tighten back up on my diet a bit and do more work in the off season. So fast forward a year and a half later, I do show number 2. I get overall. I win the whole show in regards to physique. So then I turn to show number 3. Now we're getting with the big dogs, okay? My very first NPC show. Finished 3rd in my class, Class B. It was Megatron, Tucson, Arizona, and it was a great time. But I made some mistakes because I had a show prior, so I didn't really understand how to get my body where it needed to be back a week later. You know, so this time around, we're doing it again. I have a show coming up November 7th in Tucson, same show again. And I feel like I'm coming with a way better package this time. I feel like I put the work in the off season. I'm putting the work in during prep, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna give it my best. So this has been quite the journey for me. And I hope that you will follow this journey that I'm on. Why? Because I feel like I can inspire you. If I was inspired, you can be inspired, okay? And I'm not saying this to the guy that's already walking around all fit and everything. Yes, we already know you can do it. I'm talking about the ones who don't think you can do it, because I was that guy. I didn't think I had it in me, but you know what? I stand here today saying I am. I'm standing here today saying I can. I stand here today to say I will. I have the confidence in me that surpasses what anybody else is going to think, regardless. And I want to be able to put that into you and for you to have that same level of confidence, regardless of where you started. It's not about where you start. It's about how you're going to finish. But the issue here is you have to start. So I want you to follow me on my journey, because I'm going to tell you every time that it's going to be hard. It's not easy. But it's about starting, and you don't stop. Consistency, dedication, preparation, execution. Those are my 4 values that I maintain to get from where I need to go so I can go where I need to be. And that's going to the pros. And that's where I need to be, hitting the pros. One day I'm going to hit that Olympia stage, and I want to go up against the best of them, all pros. And when I go up there against the best of them, I want to one day take that show. Now, whether that happens in a year or 5 years, it doesn't matter. I will push myself to get where I need to go because nobody else will. So follow me, watch me get there, let me help you get there, let me inspire you to get there, and let's work together. Let's get it done.